Welcome back to the Talking Sport podcast with Ricky, Josh, and Jake. This is the part two version, like I say, where we're going to talk about night two and things going forward. So, how are we, guys? You ready to break down the rest of the week?
Yeah, indeed.
Good. That's what I like to hear. So, yeah, we'll start with you then, Joshy, for night two. Obviously, still in our minds. Not long ago. What stole it from the night that you said was the best one?
I think the main event, the triple threat, probably stole the show with regards to quality, and storytelling, and how invested everyone is, and also the ending as well was probably not what anyone really expected with regards to how it was booked or how it sort of came about. I think the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match was great. It just needed a bit more time. And for me, although he's technically the heel. Massive feel-good moment for me. Sheamus winning the US title. I think, after his performances since the Rumble, he's massively deserved it. I think what a lot of people forget is that Sheamus has the exact same thing that Edge had that ended Edge's career. And, Sheamus has come back from that. And I think it's not given anywhere near as much, sort of attention as it should be. Like, Sheamus could very well have, been paralyzed, could very well have, had to retire from wrestling. And I think Sheamus is one of those superstars that will only miss him when he's gone. I think he's massively underappreciated for what he does in the ring, for how good a shape he's in. His Celtic Warrior workouts are amazing. He's got to amazing shape, especially at the age that he is. And massively hard hitting match. And it was a little bit of a shame that the white noise on the top rope was botched. But I think, you can give those guys a botch in that match. The amount that they did with the time that they had, it was hard hitting. You believed every sort of strike and every blow. And you can massively give them that because it's a difficult thing to do, picking up a 216-pound man on the top rope behind you whilst balancing to deliver a white noise. But I think the bro kick coming off the backflip was good. It reminded me of the Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole super kicks in their matches at TakeOver a couple of years ago. But yeah, massive feel-good moment for the heel that is Sheamus to win the US title. I think that's his first singles title since end of 2014, I think, when he won the WWE title. So yeah, massive moment for him. And then just to talk about the main event as well, I think great to see Randy Orton and Edge in matching gear. Are we going to see the reforming of Rated RKO? Because also nice to see Randy in white trunks. Don't think he's ever worn white trunks in his career. So nice to see him mix it up a little bit. If you'd seen on the Broken Skull sessions, he said that's the reason he never has new action figures come out, because he never changes his attire. So maybe he's hoping for a new action figure. I'll leave someone else to talk about what we thought about The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, because I reckon Rick might have some, or Jake might have some relatively strong opinions on that one. But yeah, great to see Edge, especially the 10-year anniversary of him having to retire, come out against Roman and Bryan. I think Bryan, put in a great shift. Seeing the concertos from Roman Reigns as well, I think was brilliant. There's a lot of different directions that they can go off in now. I think we all said all three of them could easily have been champion and we wouldn't mind who it is. Sad to not end on a feel-good moment with either, Bryan or potentially Edge winning. And like we were saying last night on our group chat, Edge winning and then a legend coming out and presenting him with the World Heavyweight Championship and retiring the Universal title, because I think we'd all quite like to see that. But yeah, great match, great storytelling, great chemistry between the three of them, and well done to Sheamus. And on a side note, well done to Apollo Crews and his new mate who was dressed as a communist general. So yeah, Dabba-Kato, obviously Raw Underground is definitely closed, and they're getting all the big ones out into random feuds now. But yeah, how about you guys?
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, what you said just briefly about the Sheamus thing, the spot at the end, it did very much feel like Adam Cole Ricochet NXT TakeOver, and when he super kicked him, when he tried to do a flippy, and brilliant move. Obviously, we'd have had a nice little cut from it, but yeah, no, I agree. Brilliant there, and yes, I'm sure Jake Van Dam is now going to talk about The Fiend and Alexa. On mute.
Right. Okay. I did unmute myself, but I've just unfortunately my dogs are snoring pretty loud in the back. They've actually woken up, which is a good thing. Anyway, so I loved Night Two. My favorite matches. Yeah, I agree with both of you. It would be the main event. Some great spots. I didn't mind Jey Uso getting involved. I think it makes sense. And you know, I don't know. It just makes the whole, Reigns movement and the tribal chief thing make it more realistic. And kayfabe, but really, shame we didn't see The Rock. I would have liked to seen him, but he's doing other things, selling his energy drinks or whatever. So, probably not going to see him. But yeah, it was a great match. Some great spots as well with the Daniel Bryan being put through the table. The concertos at the end, brought back some really good memories of Edge and Christian, and yeah, it was brutal, but a great way to end it. And as I think Josh and you said earlier or yesterday, it keeps all three men strong, and it pushes the movement even further for the tribal chief. So all we got to do is now wait on SmackDown and see what develops. But yeah, fantastic match to end. As you said, Josh, unfortunately, Edge or Bryan didn't win. To be honest, I would have guessed that Bryan would have got pinned or submitted. To be honest, I would have liked to have seen a DQ. Obviously, you'd have had the two Edge and Bryan trying to make Reigns submit. If Reigns actually submitted, that would have been pretty cool as well. So that would have been a big sort of interesting point to bring up on SmackDown. But yeah, I liked it overall, and it was a good match. But yeah, going to the worst match of the night, which it was about 5-10 minutes. It was just awful. Was the Fiend and Randy Orton? Don't get me wrong. Again, the Fiend reincarnated back into his old self. Not sure if that was a good thing or not. To be honest, I would have liked to seen him in his crispy self, but it's okay. But yeah, obviously Orton with the white trunks and Edge matched that as well, which was pretty interesting. So, but yeah, I think the match was quite short, quite slow. But I suppose, what did you expect? To be honest, I would be surprised. I think probably Dave Meltzer might give that a -10 stars or whatever. It was that bad, but yeah, it just didn't really make any sense. The ending, again, distracted by goo from Alexa Bliss, but the meme I sent you to was quite funny. But yeah, it was just a strange ending, strange match, and it didn't really do well for their feud at all, and could have been given more time. But yeah, definitely the worst match on night, I think.
Oh, there you go, though. But the positive that comes out of that is that Tamina and the women's tag was not the worst match on the card, like the first night. So there's positives in everything. Like you said about Reigns, obviously, it really gives him more heat as well, to beat them both, pin them both, obviously remain the tribal chief, the universal champion, when everyone wanted a feel-good moment for either Edge or Bryan. So there's exactly what you want for the Roman Reigns character, becoming more heelish. Yeah, obviously the Fiend and Orton, it wasn't a great match. I think we can safely say, after the matches we've seen between the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, I should say, and Orton in the past, and now the Fiend and Orton, I don't think we'll be seeing that anytime soon again. Brilliant visually, don't get me wrong, great visual things with his entrance and with Alexa, and as Jake said, his gooiness. But yeah, I'm sure that's a Sister Abigail play on, because he obviously was just about to hit it when she turned up. So hopefully we'll get that arc talked about, as you said, on Monday Night Raw this evening. But yeah, I thought all round a great night. Night two, not round two, sorry. but yeah, I thought the whole card, you got off to a bit of a slow start with them two, but then after that, I've talked about it all the time, but I loved Owens and Zayn, and I was really looking forward to it. And the match itself, even though it was probably a bit short for my liking, it didn't disappoint. We saw Sami Zayn, how we all love Sami Zayn, actually wrestling, actually hitting some amazing big impact moves, not him just complaining. And we all got that stunner for Logan Paul, which we were all waiting for since we knew he was going to be on the Mania card. So that match was fantastic as well. Kudos to Sheamus and Riddle, like Josh said as well, brilliant. And Apollo Crews and Big E as well, shooting a new angle with that. I know we'll have to see what happens with Big E now moving forward as well. But yeah, fantastic. And just the last thing, obviously, Josh, you said it in our chat as well. How good it was, the homage to Luke Harper, Brody Lee, from Bray when he did his touch his Tashin away, because obviously we haven't seen Bray since all of that happened really on television due to the storyline. So yeah, I thought Night 2 was the better night. I agree with Josh on that, as much as I enjoyed Night 1. But yes, a fantastic event, and brilliant to see the fans back at a pay-per-view. And I think just that alone would have carried us through, never mind the amazing talent that we saw. Moving on then forward then, guys, going forward from WrestleMania, obviously, like I said, we've got Raw tonight, we've got SmackDown, and NXT is obviously on Tuesdays now, so we've got that to look forward to as well. What do we want to see? I've already said that I'm struggling now with the no fans after seeing WrestleMania. Who do you want to see after Mania? Who do you want to see pushed? What feuds do you want to see? Jakey, what's standing out for you? What do you want to see now either on Raw or SmackDown or NXT this week?
What was the question? Sorry, you cut out, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. Just saying, what would you want to see going forward now? We've had all the feuds that end at Mania on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Who do you want to see pushed? What do you want to see happen?
Oh, Cesaro. I think Cesaro and yeah, so definitely Cesaro push. I don't know how they're going to fit him in, unless they do an Intercontinental title angle, which could be a great start for him, and then he can go on. But I think we've talked quite a lot in the past about a push for Cesaro, which hasn't happened. So hopefully WWE will open their eyes. Again, I think Sheamus is gonna probably continue his feud with Riddle. You could probably see that in Riddle's face at the end of the match. Everything's going to go completely. Everything's explode in terms of Bryan and Edge and Reigns. That feud is going to go off like a rocket. I hope I don't see the Orton and Fiend feud again. But then again, what can you do with them? And I'm not sure. I think that's probably the only thing I'm sort of looking forward to at the minute. Other than maybe, as I said, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly feud, taking those additional steps forward after a great event at NXT, Stand and Deliver. So yeah, there's quite a few things I'm looking forward to. But yeah, the one thing I hope is that I hope I don't see Hulk Hogan on TV again. It's probably never going to happen, but I just want to say, just off the cuff, that yeah, you can't edit out boos that you of that event, because it was so strange, because you could tell that there was sound issues, whether they were just adding crowd effects in or not. If some people might not care, and that's cool, but when what WWE are capable of, you sort of understand that, and you notice things, like I think we all do, like the camera cuts and things like that. I think like when the fireworks were going off, it was giving me a headache, because it was cut from seeing like Reigns to the fireworks, back to Reigns, and to it was annoying. So talking of production issues, AEW and WWE have both the same one. But anyway, loads to look forward to this week.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. There's going to be lots happening, we think. What about you, Josh? Who do you want to see pushed? What do you want to see now as we head towards Backlash?
I want to see Aleister Black come back.
Hmm.
Is a big one for me. I want to see Buddy Murphy get a push. Not really sure who against, as the main champions on SmackDown are now heels. But, you know, maybe just get into a feud with, I don't know, anyone. Like even Seth Rollins, I think would be a brilliant feud, even if Rollins wins, which he should, you know, just to elevate him and get him some time on TV and get him some time on pay-per-views as well. Yeah, like Jake, I want to see Cesaro get pushed. I think it would be a great match for him versus Cruz, with Cruz's new character. However, I'd rather see somebody else challenge Cruz first, you know, through Backlash and then whatever, like maybe the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, just so Cesaro can beat him. So he will have had a decent enough title reign instead of it just being a couple of weeks and he's done. I'd rather, you know, him have a couple of months and then Cesaro come in and win that title. Because, you know, Cesaro is the workhorse of WWE. The Intercontinental title is the workhorse title. I think we can maybe see Big E jump up to the main event scene. Going into, I reckon we'll have a triple threat redo at Backlash. I reckon it'll be the main event again. And I reckon it could be up there with, I think if we all remember the Fatal 4-Way from Backlash 2007, John Cena versus Randy Orton versus Edge versus Shawn Michaels, one of the best ending segments to a match. They all hit their finishers. Michaels hits Cena with the super kick. He falls on top of, I think it was Randy, who'd just been speared, gets the 1, 2, 3 as Michaels sort of scrambles. I think that's one of the best sort of endings to a multi-person match that we've seen. So I'd like to see them, you know, maybe explore that angle with the triple threat there. I'd like to see Lesnar come back to challenge Lashley. However, like we spoke about yesterday, maybe that'll only be you know, when fans are guaranteed. You know, leading up to SummerSlam or something. Women's wise, I want to see Ripley just tear through the women's division. There's quite a few baby faces on Raw, none of whom are particularly, you know, ready for the title. But I think, you know, if Ripley can just kill them all basically, and, you know, build herself really strongly. Belair obviously can go up against some of the heels on SmackDown. You know, Belair versus Bayley. I think we've already seen it, but to see it with the title involved will be good. Is Carmella now a babyface? I don't know. You know, but Bianca Belair versus Carmella could be a brilliant match as well. Yeah, there's loads of different things I'd like to see. Whether or not I'm going to get any of them, I don't know. And Finn Balor's come back up to the main roster and just go on a tear. Doesn't need to really have a championship around his waist, but just sort of, you know, being consistently booked, being that sort of badass character, and yeah, just doing what he can do that he's shown everyone he can on NXT.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. There is loads they can do. I've seen on something on Twitter that I agree with. See, when Keith Lee comes back now, love to see him and Sheamus for the US title, just tearing it up like Riddle and Sheamus. I think them two work brilliantly in the ring together. So I think that would be great, even if it's a triple threat between the three of them. Come Backlash. I think we're going to get a lot, as you just said, Josh. We'll get a lot of repeat matches at Backlash. You know, it's called Backlash for a reason. So I think we'll see a lot of that going forward, especially because, you know, how do you push someone into a feud, you know, in a couple of weeks, like you said. So it'll be interesting. We'll just have to see, really. I like you. I'd love to see Big E, you know, go up against Reigns. You know, he's an ultimate babyface against Roman, so that would be good. You know, we said it last night, and Josh, you said it to me after I mentioned it before. You know, are we going to see the New Day turn heel now after dropping the titles against Omos and AJ? Just a shout out, AJ now a Grand Slam champion. I know Josh wasn't happy that he did it with Omos. He'd rather have done it with a bigger superstar, but you know, he's the TNA Grand Slam champion and now a WWE Grand Slam champion, and you know, that's nothing to be tarnished. So be good to see what happens with them. How long they're going to keep the titles, who knows what will go forward with it. as NXT, like I said already, I really want to see a Santos Escobar push into one of the main title feuds. And we'll have to, it just depends on who's staying there and who goes there to see where they go with their feuds. But, it's usually a couple of months between takeovers in NXT, so they do have enough time to build that. And finally, as you said, with the women, Josh and Jake, obviously, with Sasha, with Bianca there, it's ushered in a new era of women's wrestling. We've always had kind of the horsewomen around the title, but now with Belair and Ripley there, two very young, talented superstars, as well as Raquel, obviously, in NXT. We've got countless matches we can have. Obviously, Ripley's going to be taking on faces, we would have thought, and Belair's going to be taking on heels, but it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with NXT. A bit different. They don't really care if you're a heel or a face. They'll chuck them together in matches. So we'll have to see. So loads to look forward to going forward, as in the title runs and obviously leading to Backlash. What about returns, Josh? If anyone could return now on the Raw after WrestleMania or the SmackDown after WrestleMania, who would you want to see turn up? You know what I feel about it, but who would you like to see show up now this week?
Aleister Black. Finn Balor, I think. Brock Lesnar, but like we say, probably won't be doing that without fans. I think they're probably the main ones. I think Io Shirai is probably a shoo-in to debut, but hopefully she debuts on SmackDown rather than Raw. But I think the main one for me is just getting Aleister Black back, give him the Braun Strowman 2016 post-Mania push, where even if he just beats jobbers every week, it's still building up to, going for titles, things like that. But I reckon that'd be pretty amazing. How about you?
Jakey, what do you think, mate?
I think probably possibly Becky Lynch or Ronda Rousey. I expect they've been out for quite a long time, and Becky Lynch was sort of messing about on Twitter over the weekend, and I hope she does turn up tomorrow. I think it would be great. Whether she does take on Ripley, I think that would be an awesome match. Same if Ronda comes back. I don't know if she will, to be quite honest. But I don't think she's still in contract with them. I'm assuming she is. She's taking some time away, so anything could happen. That really. But again, are they going to do it at the Thunderdome? Is it going to really be, worth it? As we've said, what are they going to do in front of fans? I think they need to do it in front of fans if they're going to do it. But again, how are they going to? The question is how are they going to sort of work it out in terms of, is every pay-per-view going to be one fans can go to now, or are we going to just see, every other, the big ones, have fans in? I think probably every pay-per-view would be a good idea to have fans back in, even if it's just 10,000, maybe 15, just to gradually get them back in. I know I said yesterday that cases were soaring in America in terms of COVID-19 at the moment, so they might not want to take that chance. But again, tonight is part of WrestleMania weekend, so we could see fans again tonight as part of the whole package sort of thing. But we'll see. As I say, Brock Lesnar as well, as Josh said, I probably would have liked to seen him, but again, I think that my prediction he would come back would be ages ago. So, I think that water sort of sailed a bit at the moment. Again, I would have liked to see The Rock over the weekend as well, but again, doesn't look like that's going to happen either. As you said, Josh, Aleister Black as well. Missed, very much missed. But it doesn't look like he's going to be coming back anytime soon. Other than that, Maven maybe, but that's not going to happen either. So Hoping Becky Lynch or Ronda Rousey tonight. I'm hoping, but we'll see. I think either one of those two would be fine, but again, it needs to be done in front of fans. I think that's the big point.
Yeah, well, that's the issue, isn't it? And I know I've harped on about it on Twitter and our group chat. And to me, why would you bring Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch in tonight in the Thunderdome? We'll be in the Thunderdome. Apparently, WWE signed a contract with the Thunderdome up until July, so we are going to still see that for the time being. But yeah, why would you do that the night after you've just had 25,000 fans in the stadium? It doesn't make any sense. I know they want ratings on Raw and stuff. Raw didn't do very well in the Raw before WrestleMania, and you do want them ratings, but their TV ratings, they're not the pop that you're going to get at a big event. Definitely, Jake, I think we're going to really see fans at SummerSlam next. Whether or not after that, if the situation in the world's obviously a lot brighter, we'll then see fans come back. We'll have to see. But yeah, wouldn't make any sense to me. If you want to do it in a few weeks or a Backlash or something like that, then fair enough, it's down the line. But the night after, you've had 25,000 fans in your stadium twice, wouldn't make any sense to me at all. With the Aleister Black thing, definitely, okay, he would get a massive pop at a main event as well if he returned, but, he is still part of the company. If he did come back repackaged, happy days, that doesn't make much difference. But yeah, I don't really want, it'd be good to see maybe RVD have a few matches. Now he's there, that would be cool. But apart from that, I don't really see, apart from call-ups, I think Io Shirai is nailed on, as Josh said. I think we will see her, which begged the thing to me why they didn't have her come out and confront Bayley on the stage last night rather than the Bella Twins. I know it was a nice lick by Bayley to say John Cena's not here, and that that made us all laugh. But apart from that, to get Io Shirai to have that pop before she moves up to the main roster would have made sense. So yeah, we'll see her. I have no doubt. We might see Aleister Black. We may see a few call-ups, like we say, from NXT, and maybe we'll see a few guys who are not doing very well on Raw and SmackDown in NXT. Who knows going forward? But definitely, it's just going to be surreal tonight watching. Well, not tonight. I'll watch it tomorrow, but watching Monday Night Raw back in front of a load of TV screens rather than screaming fans. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Whatever happens, obviously, it always is. Usually the Raw after WrestleMania is one of the best nights on the calendar, especially Raw-wise. But definitely that happens usually in front of a crowd because they usually have Raw in front of the same crowd as WrestleMania. But we'll have to see. Well, that was WrestleMania week, guys. Obviously, that was WrestleMania week. We've spoken about it, the Hall of Fame, the NXT nights, the WrestleMania nights, what we want to see going forward. Sadly, this will be, I know Josh is, Jakey, sorry, he's going to probably cry in his kitchen right now, but it's going to be the last wrestling podcast for a while anyway. I shall be leaving the Talking Sport family. If the other guys are going to stay on, well done to them, and I hope that it goes well. But yes, it's been brilliant. We've been doing this for nearly a year now through our Ruthless Wrestling Talk days, back last year, and then on Talking Sport with the Rec, and now the Talking Sport podcast. And really just want to say thank you to both of you boys for putting in the time. And, despite our busy lives, we've managed to do this every week and talk about the sport we love. So, yeah, just thank you guys for everything and putting in the work the last year.
No worries, mate. It's been good fun, and thank you for bringing us out of our comfort zones a little bit and doing something like this that I know I'm to talk for myself and probably Jake with this. We didn't think we'd ever really be doing. So no, thank you for starting it all up and giving us the opportunity to talk shit about wrestling every week.
I agree. It's been a great confidence booster for myself, and I recommend anyone who has confidence issues with meeting new people, for example, or just branch out and doing this sort of thing, or on Twitch or YouTube or whatever it is. and just enjoy it. But yeah, I've enjoyed every minute of this over the last year. I can't believe it's been a year, and somehow I've got more grey in that time. So, but obviously I've loved every minute of it, and yeah, hopefully we'll be back at some point soon. I hope.
Yeah, no, like I said, boys, only work because of the three of us putting the time in, and like I said, it's been great to have an outlet to do it. Yeah, obviously in the future, who knows? You know, bit of research, bit of looking into it, about us maybe having a YouTube channel in the future. You know, even if it's just us three boys with wrestling rather than it being the whole podcast family. But yeah, it's been great. It's been fantastic. You know, it's made wrestling more enjoyable, I know, for the three of us. And I'm sure we will continue with our chats on Facebook about the stuff that does happen. But yeah, for now, it's the end of end of my time as part of the Talking Sport family, and yeah, hopefully in the near future we'll get something back started. But yes, thank you guys, and as I've said, it's been a great year, and you know, thank you for being part of the podcast, and I'm sure we'll go again soon.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
All right, cheers, guys. We'll speak soon.
Au revoir.